Hello Mason, welcome to your first pitching video analysis from the baseball barn. I've got you synced up here on one of your throws. Let's walk through some of the things we talked about during your evaluation, and so we can show you again where we're at. Remember, we started with the leg action, so I'm just going to roll this forward, and your leg lift is nice and balanced. Your back leg drive is pretty darn good. One thing to keep an eye on is just look how much you're shrinking as you go into your delivery. We're just losing a little bit of height there, maybe a little bit excessive in the back leg bend. Not horrible, right? Pretty good leg drive down the mound if we're just looking at the lower body. As your foot lands, pretty good positioning here. If we draw that line from your back toe straight towards home plate, front foot is just a little bit left of that center line. Not horrible, just something to keep an eye on. We don't want to open up that front side too early. Best to land on that center line, but by and large, through the pitches you threw today, that wasn't really a big issue. This is probably one of the more open stances that I saw, so definitely nothing horrible there to look at. So leg action is pretty good. Front knee is straightening as you get into ball release, so the lower body is doing a pretty good job of delivering energy through your torso. We're going to do some single leg presses as part of your homework to help develop some strength in your legs and core, but I have to remind myself that you're not yet 9, you're still 8, and so for an 8-year-old, pretty darn good. Lot better than we see out of most, so definitely doing a good job there. Let's move to the upper body and focus there just a bit. So I really like the way you take the ball out of your glove below your waist. Now notice, see, you get your leg kick up in the middle there, so you have to take your hands away from your body. What I'd like to see is that glove staying a little closer to your chest, and then as your leg comes down to drive forward, then the glove can come and the ball can come out of the glove. So you could keep that glove just above your knee, a little closer to your chest, and make all of that come apart working together. You still do a pretty good job. Just getting it way out past your knee there just creates a little bit of a balance point. If we look here, you can see your spine is pretty hunched over, and your backside is sticking out quite a bit towards the back wall there where the baseball barn logo is. We'd like to see that posture a little more straight up and down, chest over belly button over your knees. But still, a lot of that is your style, so not a big issue there. Just something to be mindful of as we move forward. All in all, like I said, a lot of good things in this delivery. I really like how you get a nice wide arc in your arms, and you get your elbows and shoulders into a really good position right here. As we talked about, elbows and shoulders in a nice straight line is perfect. Just like we're seeing right here is a great body position to be in. In an ideal world, we would have the angle of the shoulders parallel to the mound. If we look at that right there, you're almost there. I mean, really splitting hairs. So that is a great angle for your shoulders to be at. This gives us that throwing downhill kind of emotion that we hear coaches talk about. But most importantly, we have elbows and shoulders in a nice straight line, chest pointing straight back towards the camera here so that we can get ready to make a strong shoulder turn in landing. Now, Mason, because you're 8 years old and super flexible, as I roll this forward, where does that front glove hand go? It just disappears right behind your body. You're so flexible that you can pull that glove hand straight behind you, and look, it's just going to disappear right behind your body while your chest is still mostly pointed towards the camera. So that is throwing that front shoulder open a little bit too early, and it's really going to cause a problem as we get further along in allowing a complete and full shoulder turn, just because we're opening just that little bit early. So This position, as I back up here, where your glove hand is pointing towards home plate, is a great spot to be. Even up higher like that is fine. And then, but watch as that glove hand starts pointing straight back towards the wall. We're just getting that glove hand out of alignment early in your delivery. So definitely something we want to work on with the shadowing is keeping that glove hand pointed towards your target, towards home plate, at least until that front foot lands. See right here where you look like the one-armed bandit almost. We want to keep that glove hand pointing so that we get a nice, good full shoulder turn after front foot plant. Okay, the key is our feet have to do the work first before our upper body does. Once our front foot lands, then we want our hips to turn first. Then that creates some tension in our core, and then our shoulders are going to turn later. That's that hip and shoulder separation you hear pros talk about. Hips lead the shoulders. Same as in hitting, same as in pitching. We want to make sure that we get that hip and shoulder separation working for us. So let's flip over here real quick and take a look at Chris Heston from the Giants from last year footage. And let's take a look what happens as his front foot lands. You can still see his glove a little bit here in the screen. Chest is pointing straight back towards third base, or what would be the camera angle that I use in the barn. And you can see shoulders and elbows are pointing downhill. And he actually gets just slightly high of an elbow here. And you'll watch he slots it right back into position. Hips turn first. Now the shoulders snap and everything comes through, and his arm is just the whip trying to finish. But elbow and shoulders turn together, using that hip and shoulder separation in his core to snap those shoulders forward. All right, the important part of that here with your delivery is let's take a look at your elbows and shoulders. Here we look pretty good. Those shoulders start to turn. Not bad. Here we look great. But watch what happens. The shoulders don't turn anymore. Right? We get kind of straight towards your target, and that shoulder stops turning, and then we get that elbow out in front a little bit early, and watch the forearm have to do all the work in that motion. So as we notice here, the elbow, here we're in a great spot, right? Elbows, shoulders, everything looks great. Now watch the throwing elbow dip down and drop significantly below that line, and then it starts to make this rise coming up. And this kind of hole, we talked about this kind of hole in our swing, or hole in the way we throw, just starts to put strain on our elbow as we make this big U-shaped path of our elbow. Ideally, we'd like that elbow to travel straight across that line and let our shoulders turn and elbows turn together without that big U. As here, the elbow gets in front of the shoulders prematurely, and then it looks like we kind of throw a dart. Not horrible, right? Mason, I've seen way worse. But this is something that could creep in and start to create some shoulder problems and elbow problems as we move forward. So we want to get the shoulders and elbow turning together, and then letting the arm accelerate through and getting a complete shoulder turn. See, that last shoulder doesn't turn until way after ball release. So we just want to work on getting the shoulders and elbows turning together and not allowing those elbows to dip through that dimension. So attached is the shadowing video where we show you how to keep that elbow up and work on getting those shoulders and elbows turning together. If you have any questions, please text, call, email me. Look forward to seeing you guys next time. I know we can fix this little elbow issue pretty quickly and increase some velocity for you. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time.